Howdy, my name is Stee and welcome to my movie menu. Today I'm going to be talking about the 2011 romantic sci-fi thriller, The Adjustment Bureau. Finally, an excuse to wear my hat. When I first saw the trailer for this film, I kind of thought, another sci-fi movie, but guys with cool hats use doors and change people's fate, and yay. But when I saw it, wow. Completely different to what the trailer actually says it should be. This movie is all about the love story. It's all about the supposedly random events that happen between a starting point and a final event. And it's pretty good to think about. I mean, try it yourself. I mean, pick somebody in your life who isn't family and then trace back everything back to specific events that happened that led to that point, but go backwards. Like myself, I met somebody solely because my friend rang her on my phone. The only reason he rang her on my phone was because he was in my house and we were practicing in a band. The only reason I was in a band was because I asked my parents for a drum kit. The only reason I had asked them to get me a drum kit was because my brother had a Slipknot CD. The only reason my brother had a Slipknot CD was because my cousin loaned it to him. So, if you think back that way, if my cousin hadn't loaned my brother that CD, I never would have met this girl. And this is 6, maybe 7 years between. But it all focused back to that one single point. That's basically what this movie is. The movie starts out telling us about Matt Damon's character, David Norris. And no, this isn't a biopic about the guy who ran for president last year. Ha! Politics! We find out his family died when he was young and he was alone, and the only way he could fill that void was to go into politics like his father's idol, JFK, and be in front of people kind of giving speeches and getting applause and all that kind of jazz. That is until he runs into a young woman named Elise, played by Emily Blunt. At the very moment when he kind of gives up on his political career and he just doesn't care anymore. They have a small kind of back and forth chat in a bathroom, and from that moment on he's fallen for her. So ladies, if you ever want to get a guy to fall in love with you, find your nearest yacks and hide and wait. He doesn't see her again for another few months, and by this stage he's lost his place in politics? I don't know. And he's kind of got a regular, everyday, kind of mundane job, and he just happens to meet her on a bus on the way into work. They chat again, and you can see that there's still something going on. And he eventually gets her number out of her and gets her first name, Elise, and then they part ways. He goes to his new job, but he shows up 10 minutes early and runs into the Adjustment Bureau. And the reason why he's 10 minutes early is because another agent from the Bureau was supposed to make him spill his coffee on his shirt, thus causing him to go back to his house and change his shirt and miss the first bus and get the second bus, so he never would have actually met her. And he would have showed up 10 minutes late for work, and he would have missed the Bureau completely. But the agent was asleep. You kind of think that these guys who have epic supernatural powers would kind of nap before a job. Anyway, the agents catch him, and then they bring him to a warehouse, and they explain to him who they are and what they do. For some unknown reason. Why didn't you just slap him in the face and just tell him to fuck off? I don't want to go into too much detail on the kind of sci-fi aspect and what the Bureau actually does and the feelings behind what the whole movie is actually about, whether it be about fate and chance or religious things or anything else. What I do want to talk about is solely the romanceness of this film. That's a word, you know, I just made it up there, but it's a proper word, romanceness. Well, anyway, the Bureau burns her number because these two are not supposed to be together, apparently. At all, ever. And then they let him go. But without her number, he can't contact her, so fast forward 3 years and it's election time again, so naturally he's running for office again. Now keeping in mind that the last time he met Elise was in the bathroom just before a big speech. And that big speech, because she convinced him to be impulsive and just let it go, and why are you wearing such a weird tie? Pretty much. He went out then and gave a rousing speech and everybody fell in love with him. But he still didn't win, but they all fell in love with him. So that naturally made him the forerunner for this race. So he's pretty much a shoo-in, basically. Now while all this has been happening, he's been searching for Elise non-stop for the last 3 years. but to no avail. He gets the same bus every day. He admits to having Googled her name, but apparently if you type in the name Elise into Google, you get 759,687 hits. And none of them were her, so he's probably just been sitting at home going, tick, no, tick, no, tick, no, tick, oh, no, no, tick, no, tick, no, tick, no, tick. This is a mouse, by the way. But then next thing we know, boom, he's on the bus on his way into work, and she happens to walk past the window. And he does his own double take, and he jumps up, he gets off the bus, and he chases after her. He tries to explain to her that he lost her number and he could never call her, but he's been searching for her every day, and like, some people may find that creepy, like extremely creepy, but hellfire, I've done it before. Not in a weird way. So they go out and all seems well, but then he runs into the Adjustment Bureau again, and their whole thing seems to be keep these two apart, no matter what, and by any means necessary, but Matt Damon ain't taking no shit. So they call in the big guns in the form of Terence Stamp. He explains that alone, Damon and Blunt can have fantastic lives. He'll end up being president, she'll end up being a world famous choreographer, but if they get together, he'll end up with nothing and she'll end up with her dreams crushed and teaching children how to dance. So Damon decides that what's best for her and her dreams is to let her go, so she can go and follow her passion. But what he doesn't realize is her passion is him. So fast forward another 11 months and he's on his way to becoming a senator and he's doing well-ish. And she's getting married to her ex that the Bureau kind of reset her up with in their change little things kind of way. He has a chat with one of the agents who has been really nice to him because he knew his father and he thought his father was a good man. And he realizes that politics and all the admiration and stuff isn't what he really wants. What he really wants is Elise. Which is great. It's a great sentiment. I mean, it brought tears to my eyes. But like, it took him another 11 months to realize this, and it just so happened to be the day before she gets married. So now with the help of this agent, we as the viewer see through Matt Damon's eyes what exactly the Adjustment Bureau does and what agents themselves do, what the hat can do, all that kind of jazz. And it's a good way to kind of explain what's going on, but it's also the last 20 minutes of the film. So up until this point, you don't know what the funk is going on. Anyway, he stops her from getting married and they run off together and they're getting chased, but then they're not getting chased, and then they finally get chased up through the Adjustment Bureau itself. And they end up on the roof, and then there's a kind of anticlimactic finish. It's really anticlimactic. I mean, Terence Stamp has been following them and kind of pushing them towards being apart for the last maybe 3/4 of an hour or so of the film. But now that he has them alone, trapped on like the 100th floor of this building with nowhere to go, nothing happens. The agent that helps out Matt Damon just kind of walks in, hands him a notice, and then he walks away. That's about it. I mean, it's pretty anticlimactic, but there's a little bit more after that, and that ending is an awful lot better than the final realization. It's the 3.5 ending that I talked about in my movie patterns video. Go back and watch that one. It's a 3.5 ending that's really good. The Act 3 ending is terrible. There is no realization between the main characters and the main kind of antagonist against them, which would be Terence Stamp. So there's nothing. He just kind of looks around and goes, "Oh, all right," and then fucks off. It's a terrible end to having him chasing them non-stop for the last however long it's been in the movie time. To then just have him turn around and go, "Okay, I'll just piss off." It makes no sense. Okay, to summarize this movie, it is nothing like the trailer suggests it is. He only uses the hat for, as I say, about 20 minutes or so of the film, just at the end. But the appeal of this movie is that it's the story that's happened to everybody at some point in their life. You meet that perfect someone, something gets in the way, whether it be fate, whether it be chance, and you lose them. And then what matters is, do you have the balls then to fight against whatever's in the way to finally get them? Do you have the courage to fight against chance and fate and anybody getting in your way to get that thing, that person that you truly want? And that, my friends, is the Adjustment Bureau. If you have a movie you'd like to hear me talk about and completely spoil the ending for you, leave it in the comments section below, or leave it on the Facebook page, or wherever you're watching this film. Just let me know what kind of movie you'd like me to yak about, basically. Because I gotta say, it's pretty fucking hard to choose a film that people would actually watch and kind of go, oh yeah, I kind of agree with what he just said there, yeah, that's great, yeah. My name is Steve, thank you for joining me. Bye now.